Good afternoon, San Angelo, and welcome to our coverage of the 93rd San Angelo Rodeo. I'm Ryan Chadwick, and joining me is my lovely co-host over here.
Hey y'all, it's Tessa. We are super stoked to get into the rodeo this year. The first performance is tonight at 7 p.m., and we are going to be out there every day this year covering on the floor fresh interviews for you guys.
Yeah, interviews, highlights, all of the coverage that you could want, plus a recap of all the scores and everything whenever the night is done. But before we get into everything we have for you today, let's hear a quick word from our title sponsor this year, Whataburger.
Whataburger, please Brent back the Monterey melt. Brent back. Okay, yeah, message received. We're Brentfing it back. Grilled peppers and onions, 2 slices of melty cheese, and jalapeno ranch on 2 fresh beef patties. Brent it on. The Whataburger Monterey melt is back. We brumped it all right. What a burger!
All right, Tessa, so let's get right into it. Slack is complete. The stage is set for the first performance tonight. So just tell me a little bit about your experience this week, because I know you and James were at Slack pretty much all week.
We were at Slack all week. It was amazing getting to watch the contestants kind of compete to see. It's pretty much a pre-rodeo. When there's too many contestants, people sign up to compete beforehand to see who's going to be in the actual rodeo. And, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. We're in the top 10 in the world, top 5 in the nation. San Angelo is one of the bigger stepping stone rodeos to see who's going to make it all the way in December.
So it's kind of like the preliminaries at a track meet. It's
yes.
like there's a lot of competitors, but it's not the finals yet, so we have to weed down the competition.
And Slack really only happens when there's, like, a few too many contestants or people who sign up, which is pretty much happening every year.
And with a popular rodeo like the San Angelo Rodeo, there's always going to be a big pool like that.
It's a guarantee that you're going to get Slack every year.
Okay, well, how was it watching it?
It was really fun watching it. Some people, they work their ass off all year round, and for most of their lives, and a lot of them grew up in the industry. It was real fun watching it and seeing them compete out there. And, I mean, it might not have been their best rides. Some of them didn't do too great, but I mean, some of them are still huge and they were on phenomenal rodeo teams. So, it's not that they aren't good. It just, some things are bad, and it really sucks that they...
We had some people at, certain collegiate teams competing, correct? And, like trying out for the San Angelo Rodeo. Yeah, stuff like that. But I know you also grabbed some interviews, so talk about that, and then we'll go right to it.
I did. For the first day of Slack, me and James went out there, and I grabbed an interview with team roper Jake Cooper, which we'll get into that. He was a super nice guy. I believe he did pretty well during his run, him and his teammate. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into that. Hey y'all, it's Tessa. I'm here with Jake Cooper. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing out here today.
We're out here at the San Angelo Stock Show and Rodeo. This is the team rope and slack this morning, and so we're here to run a couple steers and try to make it back to the short round.
What does this rodeo mean to you?
This is a big winter rodeo. It's kind of the end of the winter run and starting the spring, and if a guy does good here, it can set your whole year up.
Awesome. Where are you from?
Monument, New Mexico originally.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, not too far from here.
How long have you been doing this?
My whole life, since I was able to walk and talk.
How long have you been part of the PRCA? Rodeo?
Longer than I care to say. This will be 20 years.
Oh, nice. That's impressive.
Yeah.
That is impressive. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
You bet.
Wow.
Interesting interview, Tessa. And I know that we got plenty more to go. Can't forget about the cowgirls. The ladies in the competition were also at Slack this week, and you grabbed a breakaway roper, right?
I did. I actually grabbed a San Angelo native, Emma Waldrip. She is from San Angelo, born and raised, and she is on the ASU rodeo team right now. I'm not entirely sure how her run went yesterday, but she was super willing to do an interview, and it went phenomenal. So let's hear from Emma Waldrip with Breakaway, brought to you by Wedco Insurance. Okay, hey y'all, I'm here with Emma Waldrip. Tell us a little bit about what got you into Breakaway.
Well, my whole family has rodeoed, so I just kind of became a part of it. My whole family ropes.
What about this event sticks out more than barrel racing to you?
I feel like I get more of an adrenaline rush with this. It's just so fast.
Yeah.
You have to throw your rope as close as you can.
I imagine you were pretty excited when they decided to add Breakaway, too.
Yes, very excited.
Yeah, I don't know why it took them so long to do that.
I don't know.
What's your most favorite and least favorite part about being a breakaway?
My most favorite is probably like all the competition and the different places you get to go to. And then my least favorite, honestly, I don't know. I like all of it.
Awesome. You gotta love what you do, you know?
Yes.
What does a day of practice look like for you?
Well, I college rodeo for Angelo State, so a lot of times
Nice.
I'll be up there. And then I have my parents' house that I practice at, and I have a couple young horses going also.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and good luck to you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks again, Emma, for that interview. You know, I went home later that night and I watched her runs, and I looked up like who she was on the ASU rodeo team, and she's a phenomenal athlete, and she's been doing it her whole life. She was raised, the Waldrip family is a pretty decent name around San Angelo. You know, she's worked super hard for it.
Yeah, and aren't you glad that they finally added in another event for the cowgirls to do?
I'm so glad. I think it took them long enough for the NFR to realize that, hey, these girls should be recognized, because it is hard. It's not easy. You know, growing up in the industry, you watch people start from a young age trying to rope a roping dummy that's completely standstill. And it's sure fun to watch, because these men, they have a hard time with it a lot of the times. And, you know, I do too. Yeah. And I'm sure the girls do. But so to do it on a standstill roping dummy versus doing it horseback in an arena with thousands of people watching you, if not hundreds of thousands, the competition alone is going to be weighing on them, but then to be able to do that is incredible.
Oh, of course. And I'll be the first one to tell you that the rodeo, you know, for years and years has pretty much been a boys' club with only one event being reserved for the cowgirls. But I mean, everybody loves cowgirls, you know, whether you're a man or a woman, you know, like it's a signature part of the rodeo. And I know that they get to, you know, carry the flags like on the horses in the beginning, and there's some pageantry to that. But just having another event that they can actually compete and show that they could be just as talented at roping as the cowboys too, just adds more to the rodeo.
It does, and you know, the ambassadors work incredibly hard all year round, but they're not competitors for the rodeo. Exactly. So it's nice to have another event that's scored for these women to be able to
gives the cowgirls a chance to make some money too.
Right.
You know,
no, it certainly does.
Yeah. But we also had one more interview. Now, this one wasn't a rodeo competitor, but it was one of the guys who makes this all possible to make slack work, to make the rodeo run efficiently, you know. But there's a funny story tied to it. So, Tessa, I'll let you take this one away.
There is. So I actually got an interview with Andy Hilton. He is the pit boss for the San Angelo Rodeo. And the pit boss is the guy who controls pretty much everything cattle, steers, all that. So just like bareback riding, saddleback, and bull riding, a bunch of steers' numbers and names go into a hat. Contestants draw it, and it's completely chance. So, and then Andy is the guy who on foot works super hard, super fast to make that happen and sorts them, make sure everyone's doing what they're doing, make sure everyone's where they're supposed to be. He's the guy in charge of all that, and a lot of people don't realize, or they just don't think about everything that has to go on down there. And me and James waited around for this interview for probably, between the days combined, probably about 2.5 hours, because the shoot guys didn't want to do an interview. And I was trying to talk him into it. I'm like, come on, you guys are going to be next to me. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. They didn't want to do it, so they sent their boss out there, and I actually got a pretty good detailed interview with him. He knew exactly what he was talking about, which I'd hope. But he's been doing it for a long time. So let's go ahead and get into that interview. Hey y'all, I'm here with Andy Hilton. Tell us a little bit about what you do out here at the rodeo every year.
So I get hired here to be the timed event shoot boss. That means all the cattle that come through here, I take care of timed event calves, team roping, steer wrestling steers, and we feed them, we sort them, we haul them, and then during the rodeo, I kind of lead this end of the arena to make sure everything's loaded right, in the right order, and run the crew and all the ins and outs, the timing and everything, so the rodeo goes off without a hitch. If you don't have somebody down here running it, it can be really slow. And when one calf leaves, the gate shuts, the next one's in, the next guy's coming in. I've talked to contestants, making sure they know when they need to be in. And it can make a rodeo be really good or really bad, no matter who's in that spot.
What does the sorting process look like for a rodeo as big as San Angelo?
So like, let's say there's 116 team roping steers here. Slack takes up 75 of them, and those 75 guys, they draw out of a hat. All their 75 chips go in, they all draw a steer. So, and then we get to the performances, 8 a night, 8 guys, they draw a steer, and they can't have one twice. So you redraw the next night. Everybody here gets a chance at it twice, and then your best times averaged together come back for the short go.
So the drawing process for team roping is the same as bareback, saddleback, bull riding?
Yeah, and it's a little bit. We draw an hour and a half before the performance or slack here in the timed events. Rough stock, I think they know it a week or two in advance.
Oh, wow.
What they have drawn.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. How long have you been doing this?
Oh, I'm 43, so I don't know, probably 20 years.
What would you say is the hardest part of doing this out here?
You're here a long time, and these last 3 days of slack that's our longest. But other than that, we got a great crew here, and the town of San Angelo is great, and they all take care of all of us that come in from out of town to work it, and we really have fun.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Andy.
Yep.
Have a good day.
Yep.
Now, that was a good interview, Tessa. And it's not every day that the people in San Angelo get to see what happens behind the scenes, that allows this rodeo to happen.
Right. No, and that's exactly why we stayed as late as we did every day, trying to get these shoot guys to get on camera and tell us exactly what they do. And because the rodeo simply would not work without them. Mm-hmm. They are the glue that holds this thing together.
Yeah, the people in the audience just think that the steers and the calves just come out of nowhere, right?
I'm sure there are some people who think that because they're so out of sight, out of mind. Mm-hmm. You don't think about it. And that's okay. But I'm super glad that I got to interview Andy and figure out how long he's been doing this, what it takes to make this thing work, and exactly like the details of what the pit boss does.
Oh, yeah.
Because personally, I've been in the industry for years, and I just never thought about the fact that he is partially in control of the steers that are drawn out of the hats, too. Mm-hmm. So, it's just, there's a lot of pieces that need to be glued together, and he's the man who does it.
Well, of course. Well, like I said, I'm glad we got that one. But let's get into the actual meat of the rodeo. Now, the San Angelo Rodeo is one of the biggest rodeos in Texas, and that means that it draws some star power. And we got some superstars coming to the San Angelo Rodeo this year. Specifically, let's talk about one of the guys in the bareback.
Yeah, so this year we're going to get Rocker Steiner at the rodeo. He's currently number 2 in the world. And that kid, people either love him or you hate him. He has quite a bit of controversy when it comes to the NFR and, his attitude towards who he is as a person. But I think it makes him who he is. I don't think he would be as popular if he were. He'd still be good. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he'd be quite as popular among the crowd as he is now if he wasn't true to himself. That kid, some people think it's an adolescent attitude and some people think he just is cool. Which I think he is. You don't see that too often, and there's good reason for it because he gets fined at the NFR every year. He is.
Yeah, but I did hear he gets fined a lot.
That kid is getting fined. But it makes him who he is, and we're gonna get to see him this year, and I hope he does good. He had a scary fall at the NFR this past December, but from what I hear, he's back on track, and he's gonna be able to perform just right. All
right. Well, hopefully we get a show from him. Another group of rodeo stars coming to town this year is ones that have been pretty much mainstays over the last couple of years. Rodeo royalty at this point, and it's the Wright family, right? We got one bull rider, of course, that's Stetson Wright. He's rode bulls at San Angelo before, but specifically in the bareback, we got Statler, Rusty, and Ryder Wright all coming. So it's like the entire Wright family almost.
No, we do have almost the entire Wright family, and that family has been in the rodeo industry for decades, and they know what the heck they are doing.
Mm-hmm. They've won a lot of money, But Tessa, we also got some local boys, some homegrown San Angelo boys that we can all root for, and of course, I know y'all at home already know who I'm about to say. It's the brothers Ty and Joel Harris.
Yeah. They're a big crowd favorite because, it's so easy to root for your own people.
Oh, yeah.
They're from here and they get the San Angelo name out there.
Well, and not to mention, it's like we continue to add new guys to that pool, too, because joining them is Dylan Hancock, right? Mm-hmm. So he won the San Angelo Rodeo last year, qualified for the NFR for the first time as well, and, finished 6th overall in the world last year, and that's a up-and-coming name that everyone needs to learn, and, again, another San Angelo boy,
Which is amazing to see, 6th in the world for San Angelo. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of small-town athletes out there that make it that far. But it's just, when it's your own hometown and it's a rodeo this big, it's super exciting to see.
Oh, yeah. I will say, though, listed on the PCR website, he said his favorite rodeo was the Wyoming rodeo. What the heck, Dylan?
Yeah, what's that about?
Yeah.
We're just kidding.
I'm just kidding, man.
Cheyenne Frontier Days, I will admit, is a hard one to compete with.
All right, but we also got a couple guys just from around the area. We got Sam Powers and Ward Hudson, both from Sonora. And then Tate Thomas, Cole Helton, Kelby Frizzle, all from Sterling City. And then Kip Harrell from Wall.
Right next door.
And I know a bunch of these guys were in Slack, so we don't exactly have all the complete day sheets yet to know if they made it into the big dance, but hopefully we will have just a bunch of local guys to root for this year.
100%.
All right, moving right along. There's another big name bull rider coming to town. Go ahead and talk about him.
Yeah, so it's going to be T. Parker. He is currently number 7 in the world. He is pretty dang famous right now. A lot of the ladies find him to be quite the looker, and he's good at what he does, man.
That's what I was going to ask. I was like, is it because he's really good, or is it because the ladies find him incredibly
No, I mean,
good
he's
looking?
number 7 in the world, and staying on a bull it's a challenging job.
Yeah.
It's dangerous and it's challenging, and no, he's good at what he does, but I don't think his looks hurt him.
Oh, yeah.
As far as social media and stuff goes.
So, and that's crazy to think about, too. When you think about the guys who actually have the courage to get on these bulls, when you're sitting in the stands, you don't really realize how big these animals are. I remember last year when I was waiting for an interview, just basically waiting for the winning bull rider of that night, right? I can't remember who it was at this point, but I was standing in the chutes right next to where the pins that were holding the bulls. You just don't think about how massive these animals are, but then you're like, oh, well, this weighs as much as a pickup truck, and
no, they are
know?
phenomenally huge. They're massive, and the way that their ranchers take care of them and the way that they're fed, you wouldn't expect them to be small.
Oh yeah,
they are so well taken care of.
And it's an entire business, with genetics, genealogy, like the lineage of the bull. You get a good enough score at a rodeo, all of a sudden the company or the person or the rancher who owns that bull has another open line of money making opportunities.
100%. And I know these cowboys. I mean, they love the bulls almost as much as we do. Like J.B. Mooney bought the bull that retired him, and it lives the rest of his retirement days out on his land. So these cowboys, they love what they do. Right. They love these bulls just as much as we do.
He was thanking the bull basically. They say, "Hey, come
I'm
with
not
me.
sure he was ready to retire, but
yeah, okay. But so we've talked about the cowboys. Now let's talk about the cowgirls. We got some big name barrel racers coming to town, namely in Haley Kinzel. She is a 4-time world champion, 8-time NFR qualifier, and has made over $2 million as a barrel racer.
She is an incredible barrel racer. She works super hard, and I'm stoked to have her at the rodeo. I don't think I've seen her at this rodeo before, but I've been out of town a lot for it, so it's possible she's come, but I don't remember her being at this rodeo, and I'm stoked to have her. She's huge right now. That's a girl who knows what the heck she's doing.
Oh yeah, and I'm pretty sure she's been here before. Like I know that she was leading at one point, if I'm thinking of the same cowgirl here, but we also have a local family competing together, right?
We do. We have Jennifer and Jordan Driver, the mother-daughter duo from Garden City, which is going to be super exciting to see. One more local team for us to root for. I'm stoked to see them.
Isn't that something? Can you imagine competing in a sport with your mom?
No, I could not.
Yeah, knowing who my mother is, she's the sweetest lady in the world, right? One of the nicest people that I know, but I cannot see her saying, "Hey, Ryan, let's go play sports together."
Yeah, no, I love my mother, but I couldn't see that woman running barrels.
Yeah, hey, that's something else. But we also have Taylor Bays from Wall, or San Angelo, I guess. She's listed as San Angelo, but I'm pretty sure she's a Wall girl. I've interviewed her before, but we also have Kathy Feltz and Cassie Mowry. So Kathy Feltz is from San Angelo. She was in the Slack. We don't know if she made it yet, but Cassie Mowry, she is a world champ. So, like I said, a lot of big name barrel racers coming to town too, plus some local talent that we will get to root for. But yeah, so there's a lot to look forward to.
There is, and I just can't express enough how exciting it is to see world champions and number 2s, number 7s, top 20s at your hometown rodeo.
Oh, for sure, and because there's rodeos all over Texas, right?
All over the world.
And these cowboys, whenever they're picking rodeos, sometimes they compete at multiple rodeos in the same week, right? So it's hard to draw these big names sometimes. So if you are consistently getting some of the biggest guys in the world, some of the biggest ladies in the world, it's got to say something about your rodeo, you know? So, like, shout out to the San Angelo Rodeo Association for always putting on a good show. But as far as this weekend goes, we're going to have, what, 4 performances?
4.
Just go ahead and run through our schedule.
We're going to have one at 7 p.m. tonight on Friday the 4th. That's going to be the first performance. It's going to be huge. You're going to get a big welcome back whenever it starts. And then tomorrow we've got 2 performances, one at 1 p.m. and one at 7 p.m., if I'm not mistaken. And, you know, it's opening weekend. There's going to be so many people, so many food vendors. It's going to be super exciting. And then Sunday is just the 2 p.m. show. Not much to say about that.
Right. Hey, but it's opening weekend at the rodeo, and we get into the big meat event next week. But I do know that on the final week, we got a couple of theme nights, right?
We do. Next Sunday is going to be the Extreme Bulls, which is a pretty big crowd favorite.
So, yeah, I'm one of those people. Like, I like the cinch shootout, and I like the Extreme Bulls. You know, like, I'm the big bull riding guy. Like, that seems like the toughest guys are going to be in that event. So, like, it's just fun to seeing those guys, you know, work up the courage to try to ride something that massive. You know?
I was gonna say, I might not call them the toughest, but I will say it takes a lot of courage to get on one of those animals. Those bulls are ruthless. Yeah,
and then of course we also have military appreciation on Wednesday, April 16th, and of course cancer awareness on the following day on Thursday, April 17th. So, got a full slate in front of us. And I know on that final weekend we have the finals on Friday, the cinch on Saturday.
The cinch shootout, that's another big crowd favorite.
Well, and because that one's only, like, that one's invite only. Like, you can't, like, win your way into that one, you know. But that one's going to be special. We'll have more on the cinch shootout when that time comes. And, of course, we're going to round out the rodeo this year with Tejano Day, which is
Sunday.
Something else.
Yeah, it's Sunday the 20th, which also happens to be Easter. But there's a lot of seats left. If I am remembering correctly, there's a lot of seats left for that Tejano Day.
Yeah. And that's something, like, it's going to be different, right? It's not going to be your usual rodeo. So, like for those of you out there that want to just experience something that's a little bit different, it's still wildly entertaining. Y'all should go check it out.
Oh, it'll be great.
Yeah. Finally, let's run through the actual rodeo events. I have to ask Tessa, I got into it a little bit for myself, but what is your favorite event at the rodeo?
My favorite event has to be bareback bronc riding. You know, I grew up watching it, grew up loving it. It is the thing that gets me the most pumped for the rodeo. It's going to be my all-time favorite. And, of course, our bareback riding, or all of our rough stock coverage is brought to you by Uber Eats this year. That is kind of the dichotomy there, right? It's like the guys who love the bull riding and the guys who like the bareback riding, there's hardly any crossover there. I see some cowboys who ride saddle bronc also ride bulls, but I rarely see guys who ride bareback also ride bulls. Like, have you seen that? I've seen it at college rodeos when they need someone to step up, but I don't believe I've seen it professionally. Do you think it's just a completely different style? It's hard to say, because whenever you're on an animal with that big, with that much power, you're spurring the necks, and you're trying to make sure that you pay attention to which way their head goes so you don't get bucked off. I don't think it's necessarily a different style, but I think it's there's different weights to them for sure. Oh, yeah. Like, when I watch, and, like, of course, I'm not the most well-versed, but, you know, I'm in my 4th year covering this rodeo pretty heavily now, but it's almost like bareback riding is an art form. Bull riding, you're just hanging on for dear life. They're hanging on. Yeah, you know. They are. But, of course, all our rough stock coverage is brought to you by Uber Eats, and all our bull riding, that one is brought to you by Angelo Concrete this year. So big shout out to Angelo Concrete. Thank you so much. But, of course, the other livestock riding event is for the tots, right? So it's the mutton busting, and it's always brought to you by Snore Bank. What do you like about the mutton busting? The mutton busting is by far my second favorite. They are just so dang cute, and they're holding on for dear life. The entire arena's cheering for those kids. It's just, they're so cute. I think it's so exciting when you actually get one of the little kids who take it seriously. And, like, if they have a bad ride, they just look mad, or if they do well, like they just don't let go. The Cowboys basically have to peel the little kid off the sheet. They're hanging on, and they look up to these cowboys and cowgirls, and, you know, if someone wins the Rodeo Austin and they held up a branding iron or a buckle and they're like, yeah, you see those kids doing the exact same thing here at our rodeo. They look up to these cowboys and cowgirls, and it's really darling.
Yeah. Now into the timed events this year, Robert Lee Care Center is bringing us all our coverage of all our timed events. That includes the tie down, the team roping, and the steer wrestling. Those are where some of the superstar names are, and out of those three, I know tie down is always the most popular, right?
It is.
Like that and bull riding, I feel like those are like the ones that get the most attention. But to be honest, my favorite is the steer wrestling.
Really?
Yeah. So that's one of those that, like, first off, I could never do it. I'm not big enough. Like, those guys are huge, you know? Like, every time I have to interview one, I'm like, how are you doing, sir? You know? But like just the thought of like jumping off your horse just onto a live animal, saying, hey, I'm going to get you on the ground. It's not like you rope him first, he can't move, and then you pick him up and tie him up, you know. But I've always thought that was really exciting. What about you? What's your favorite timed event?
My favorite timed event is also probably steer wrestling. It's just so fun to watch and see how these guys time exactly when they jump off and when they grab that steer. Because I don't know if you've ever been around a baby steer, but whatever. Y'all get it.
Yeah.
But those horns are sharp.
Yeah.
They are incredibly sharp. So I'm like, seeing them have to time whenever they pounce off their horse and onto the steer, it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, and of course, that's not taking anything away from what team roping is, because I know like that you talk about tie down, that's the most popular. You talk about steer wrestling, it's some of our favorites, but team roping is probably the most difficult.
It is, because you rely heavily on your partner.
Well, think about how many moving parts there are. It's not just, your horse in the steer, right? Like it's, 2 horses, 2 cowboys, and then the animal, right? And if one guy messes up, then the entire run's off.
The entire run is off.
So you gotta be in sync.
If one guy breaks that rope too early, or if one guy misses, if the header misses, you're done.
You're done. Yeah, and you just go home. Yeah. You might as well just hit the road, start driving back, right? No, but did we? Okay. Well, of course, I almost forgot about the cowgirls here. Now, for the barrel racing this year, that one is brought to you by Texas Angels Boutique.
My personal favorite sponsor.
Oh, yeah? I bet. And why is that, Tessa?
Their clothes are so cute.
Yeah. I'm just messing with you. All right. But we do love Texas Angels. They have been sponsors for us in the past, and they continue to contribute to us. But they are sponsoring the barrel racing this year, and that's almost every Cowboys favorite out there, But I think this year we're going to see some fast times. Like we saw, of course, San Angelo Rodeo always runs fast because the track is shorter, right? And so the times are going to be a little off from Rodeo Houston or the rodeos that happen in Fort Worth. But I know we got some big name ladies coming, and it's going to be exciting. But finally, Breakaway. That one's brought to you by Wedco Insurance. Now, this is only the second year the Breakaway's been at San Angelo Rodeo. I know I said that earlier, but let's reiterate there. It's kind of a new event, so it's almost, it seems like people don't really quite know how to cheer for it yet. And I know San Angelo's really knowledgeable about the rodeo, but what is the most important thing to look for when you to recognize when you see a good breakaway?
Really, it's the time. That's the most important thing that matters with breakaway. Is you don't want to see them break that rope, just like you don't want to see the team ropers break that rope. You don't want to see anybody break that rope. You don't want to see them break that rope, and you want to watch the time. And whoever has the quickest time and the best pull, that's who you're looking for. Breakaway's been around for a long time. It just hasn't been in the rodeo industry.
It's been an official event. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I got you. Well, it's going to be all exciting this year, and of course, we also have a scoreboard sponsor this year. We're going to post all results afterwards. Lucas, go ahead and put that bad boy up there. Brought to you by 3D's Plumbing. That's a graphic. Love it. All right, and of course, our title sponsor, Whataburger. Thank you so much, Whataburger, for making all of this coverage of the San Angelo Rodeo possible. Tessa, show 1 in the books.
Show 1's in the books, and I know it made you guys want to patty melt.
Yeah, it did. All right. Enjoy the rodeo tonight, guys. We will see you tomorrow.